Thank you all for your patience. I'm going to call this special meeting of the Plan Commission to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
Lawson,
Here.
Beecher, Newbill,
Here.
Jones,
Present.
Osborne,
Here.
Murray,
Here.
Mishler,
Present.
Schaefer.
Here. Before we approve the agenda, can I get a motion to amend the agenda to add a staff item to assign a number to a previously approved Plan Commission resolution, and we will do that at the end of the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second to amend the agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I don't have people's names anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry. Motion by Mr. Mishler, seconded by Mr. Osborne. I apologize. I will follow up like that. That motion is approved. Can I have a motion then to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Ms. Lawson, seconded by Mr. Mishler. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion is approved. I do have the proofs of publication here, and they should also be in your packet. Do I have a motion to approve the proofs of publication?
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Mishler, seconded by Mr. Jones. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Our first item of new business is also a staff item or a request from the staff. 25 PUDA-02, a request to clarify the conditions that were included in the motion. And I don't see Ms. Marnoka here. Do we want to postpone this until later in the meeting? Let's do that. Can I have a motion to
Table it.
table this until later in the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Mishler, seconded by Mr. Jones to table this until later in the meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, 25 ANX-03, petitioner is City of Elkhart Board of Public Works.
The petitioner is the City of Elkhart. The site location is East Hively Avenue, the Prairie Street Cemetery. The request is as prescribed by Section 2911B, a request to annex land south of Hively Avenue, including both developed and undeveloped land for the Prairie Street Cemetery, land containing approximately 25.85 acres, including right-of-way. The staff report is being prepared for annexation 25 ANX-03 to annex approximately 25.85 acres of land in Concord Township that currently contains the Prairie Street Cemetery, as well as vacant land for the purposes of cemetery expansion. The land is currently zoned R1, one-family dwelling district in Elkhart County, and will remain R1 zoning after annexation. For the purpose of the annexation, the petition is for the city to bring the city cemetery into the municipal boundary for future expansion. The annexation request is voluntary. The property meets the contiguity requirement in order to file a petition to seek annexation. The territory to be annexed is 33.55% contiguous to the current city limit, which is more than the 12.5% contiguous or contiguity requirement to current. I'm sorry, I screwed that up, which is more than the 12.5% contiguous to the current city limits as required in Indiana code. As identified in the fiscal plan prepared by Baker Tilly, the property is tax exempt. The annexation will result in no impact on the tax rate or tax levy of other filing units. The staff recommends approval of the annexation based as prescribed by legal description contained in the petition, based on the fact that it meets all applicable requirements of Indiana Code 3643 and on the following findings of fact. Number one, the area to be annexed meets all applicable requirements of Indiana Code 3643. Number two, the comprehensive plan has not been approved for this area. It is anticipated the revised map will designate its future land use as residential. Number 3, the current conditions and character of the future structures is consistent and the city will be enhanced by the annexation. Number 2, the annexation is in accordance with the most desirable uses as an existing cemetery. Number 5, the annexation will conserve property values throughout the jurisdiction and bring the city cemetery into our community. And number 6, the annexation represents responsible growth and development in the city of Elkhart.
Any questions for Mr. Trotter? Mr. Mishler?
Do we have any timetable on this expansion? Was that part?
I have our chief of staff in the audience this morning or this afternoon, might be able to address that.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Trotter? Seeing none, thank you, sir. Is a representative of the petitioner here today? Yes, that's you. But I think you're doing a wonderful job.
Thanks.
Suck up to the boss.
Megan Irwin, Chief of Staff. I can answer Councilman Mishler's question. The Prairie Street expansion does not currently have a timeline. Given the financial situation that the city's in with SEA 1, we're evaluating all of our capital projects right now for funding. But we are looking at potentially phasing in expansion and taking on what the city can afford. So we'll be evaluating that in the next several months.
Thank you.
Any other questions from Ms. Irwin? Seeing none, thank you, ma'am. I will open this up to public comment. Is there anyone here who would like to speak on this matter in person? Seeing none, is there anyone online that would like to speak on this matter? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing and bring it back to the Planning Commission. Any other questions or comments from the commission members? If not, I would entertain a motion. This would be a do pass or do not pass recommendation to the Common Council regarding this annexation.
I will make a do pass recommendation to the Common Council.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Mishler, seconded by Ms. Lawson. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Osborne,
Yes.
Newbill,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes.
Murray,
Yes.
Mishler,
Aye.
Schaefer.
Yes. Motion passes. I think since I do see the petitioner in the audience, I would like a motion to remove our first item, 25 PUDA-02 from the table, and we'll act on that right now.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Mishler, seconded by Mr. Jones. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. 25 PUDA-02 is back on the agenda, off the table. Ms. Marnoka, if I could ask you to come up, please. So I believe the concern today is between you and Mr. Trotter. You're not entirely clear the conditions that were included in the motion on this matter when we voted on it 2 weeks ago. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And Mr. Mishler, I believe you made the motion, correct?
I did.
Okay. Not quite sure how to handle this. I guess my question would be, you know what, let's just do this. Let's kind of have just a little bit of an open discussion. What I understood, and Mr. Mishler, correct me if you're wrong, or if I'm wrong, what I understood the motion to be, it was the recommendation of the Plan Commission that this item goes to, this PUD amendment, goes to the Common Council with a do pass recommendation, but that the Common Council should not approve it until the Karen Drive access was in place.
Yes.
That was your motion? Ms. Lawson, you were at the meeting, you agree? Mr. Osborne?
Yes. That's what I recall, yes.
Mr. Jones agrees as well. So I think that's the consensus. Mr. Murray, you were obviously not here. Mr. Newbill, you were not here. Mr. Beecher was, but he's not here today. So does that consensus make sense to you and the staff?
It does, it does. It
Okay.
does. The discussion beforehand and the commission's president beforehand, what you stated was just a little different than the motion. So Eric and I wanted to make sure that everybody understood what they were voting.
Okay. I don't believe we need to take action because I feel like there was a consensus that that was the motion we believed we were voting for.
Great. Thank you
Very
so
good.
much.
Thank you.
Too easy.
Next item on the agenda, 25 TXT-01, petitioner is City of Elkhart. Sure. Oh, do you need a time to kind of set some things up? Take your time.
I'm not super technological, so.
Mr. Trotter.
The petition is 25 TXT-01. The petitioner is the City of Elkhart. Request is for the City of Elkhart seeks review and adoption of updated language found in the Unified Development Ordinance. Analysis. The purpose of updating the current zoning ordinance to a Unified Development Ordinance was to make sure the city remains competitive from an economic development standpoint and to ensure we regulate land use efficiently and effectively. With that stated purpose, a number of goals were developed to guide the process of the update. Those original goals were to create more user and business-friendly ordinance that can be understood by all, simplify regulations and remove inconsistencies and redundancies to result in more concise standards, reorganize the ordinance to make it easier for the public to find the information they're looking for, add more graphics, tables, and charts to better convey the regulations in the ordinance, increase flexibility within the ordinance to allow planning staff to work with the applicants to get the best outcome based on site conditions, add districts or standards to address new development types while removing regulations that are no longer applicable, ensure consistency with changes in state and federal law, and ensure consistency with the vision and policies of the comprehensive plan. While the original goals of this update have remained the same, which was to make sure our city remains competitive from an economic development standpoint and to ensure we regulate land use efficiently and effectively, a number of circumstances caused us to reevaluate and expand the original scope. The largest of which were the new neighborhood plans, the River District, Downtown, and Benham, that were drafted over the last two and a half to 3 years. They focused on neighborhood identity, density and design, walkability, and an emphasis on housing, which helped to guide the development of this UDO. Over the course of the project, public input was gathered during in-person meetings, public engagement at the farmers market, online survey, and project website. Dozens of hours were spent receiving feedback, compiling responses, and incorporating them into the document. Updates were provided to the Plan Commission at intervals along the way. The final update created a more business-friendly ordinance that can be understood by all, simplified regulations, and removed inconsistencies and redundancies to result in more concise standards, reorganized the ordinance to make it easier for the public to find information they're looking for, and added more graphics, tables, and charts to better convey the regulations in the ordinance. The document also increased flexibility within the ordinance to allow planning staff to work with applicants to get the best outcome based on site conditions, added districts or standards to address new development types while removing regulations no longer applicable, ensuring consistency with changes in state and federal law and consistency with the vision and policies of the comprehensive plan. Chapter 1, the General Provisions. The General Provisions chapter outlines the statutory authority to adopt the Unified Development Ordinance under state law. The UDO's purpose to promote public health, safety, morals, and general welfare for land use development in the city of Elkhart. This chapter also outlines the interpretation and conformance with the Comprehensive Land Use Plan, provides for severability language that should play a part, any part of the UDO be declared invalid. Such declaration shall not affect the validity of the UDO as a whole or in part. Chapter 2, Applicability and Conformity. This chapter outlines in part the jurisdiction which applies to all land uses and structures within the city's planning jurisdictions, compliance requirements that no building or structure shall be occupied, no excavation, and no building enlarged unless in conformity with this chapter. Permits and certificates require permits to be approved and obtained prior to work commencing. This chapter also describes the purpose for nonconformities in order to establish clear and consistent methods of addressing nonconforming lots, uses, structures, and signs resulting from an interpretation or amendment of the regulations or the zoning classifications or reclassification of a property. Number 3, zoning district. This chapter establishes the official zoning map for the city and prescribes how zoning map amendments are made. The chapter also determines how zoning district boundaries are made and located. The chapter establishes the number of base zoning districts, which have been reduced to 10 with 4 overlay districts and 2 form-based districts. The reduction in the number of districts was made by combining districts that share similar characteristics to each other and had similar impacts to adjacent land uses. 2 zoning classifications were eliminated because they were not used and could easily be incorporated into other zoning classifications. All the remaining zoning districts have been renamed to be more descriptive of the district's intent and purpose. The new nomenclature is an effort for the name to be more in line and reflect the type of activities occurring in these districts. Each base district provides the district's intent and type of use typically occurring in the district. The building types providing a brief listing of buildings found in each district, uses, charts of permitted uses and special exceptions, uses, development standards, chart of the dimensional standards for the district, and development of conditions specific within each district. Overlay districts and form-based districts prescribe specific use, development standards, and architectural standards. Overlay districts establish special considerations for areas of the city regarding uses, development standards to allow for greater flexibility and focus on the character of the development. Some overlay districts are more restrictive to development because of sensitive natural features or federal laws, i.e. Airport Overlay District, Riverfront Overlay District, Wetland Conservation District, and Special Flood Hazard Area Overlay District, which are existing and have remained unchanged. The Historic Conservation Overlay District has been updated to reflect the new boundaries of the Historic Conservation District. Chapter 4, Use-Specific Conditions. This chapter provides in chart form all of the uses found within the UDO as a table of uses. This table consolidated all uses into a chart is new as the prior ordinance listed the uses separately within each chapter. Uses included have been renamed and combined use categories of similar activities with comparable impacts found in the previous ordinance to reflect current land uses. The table of uses makes it easier for the user to find and determine which districts a specific use is allowed. Also new to the UDO are the use conditions which have been consolidated together in one area of the chapter. Now each use is listed alphabetically with the special development conditions associated with each specific use. The previous ordinance had the use conditions listed by district, which was more cumbersome when developing a site plan. Meaningful integration of residential and commercial uses by site and by building has been incorporated for greater emphasis on development character. Chapter 5, Building Typologies. This entirely new chapter provides regulations that establish the scale and design of buildings that are unique to the city of Elkhart in each zoning and overlay district. These regulations are intended to improve the physical quality of the buildings that contribute to the overall character of the city, which emphasizes the importance of how buildings relate to the public right-of-way. Building typology separates the uses from the building types, which will allow for greater development flexibility by placing a larger focus on the structure. 17 building types were developed for the UDO. Staff helped to determine which building type was appropriate for each district based on the description and intent. Building types are not intended to limit permitted uses, but prescribe building characteristics based on their zoning district or overlay district with use as secondary to the building. General regulations. This chapter establishes standards that apply universally to all land, structures, and uses subject to the UDO. This chapter covers specifically requirements for the construction of any structure on a lot of record, what are encroachments and how they are measured, development access regulations, and addressing as regulated by the Plan Commission. Newly added to the UDO for the benefit of the user is rules of measurement. This part of the chapter outlines the common development standards that staff must perform that require some computation to complete. This allows the user to know exactly how each computation is made and applied. Examples found in the UDO are setback, corner side yard setback, building height, lot coverage, and floor area ratio. This chapter is also where the lighting regulations and requirements are found. It provides standards for all exterior lighting related to height of fixture and light intensity. Chapter 7, Parking and Loading. This chapter is to maintain public health, safety, and welfare. The regulations of this chapter establish standards regulating off-street parking and loading in accordance with the uses permitted in this ordinance for the enhancement of the community. This chapter provides the parking standards and regulations for all off-street parking area development in the city. Tables have been added by use, which shows the minimum parking and bicycle standard for each use. This will make it easier for the user to have the requirement for the development in one location. Newly added standards and regulations to the UDO are removal of parking lots for discontinued uses with no primary building, defining storage versus parked for recreational vehicles, flexibility for parking reductions when adjacent to public parking, shared parking credits, and updated stacking requirements for commercial drive-through establishments. Also added to the UDO is electric vehicle charging station language for permitted location, equipment standards, and signage. The chapter provides standards for areas that are exempt from minimum parking and parking requirements for change of use. Chapter 8, Landscaping, Buffers, and Open Space. This chapter supplements the district regulations for landscape and required buffers in all districts. Landscaping shall be provided for an improved aesthetic quality of development. A visual barrier partially or completely screen the view of a structure or activities, or as an acoustic screen to aid in absorbing or deflecting noise. This chapter consolidates all landscaping, buffering, and screening requirements into one place in the UDO. Much of the information that was carried over from the previous document had been placed in tables to aid the user's ability to find information quickly. A number of graphics and graphic examples have been added to provide a visual understanding of the regulation being covered. New requirements added are intended to ensure the ongoing maintenance and survival of landscape and buffering material is irrigation for commercial sites larger than one area and reducing the spacing of tree placement in required perimeter yards. The fencing regulations have also been updated for corner side yards. This is a direct result of the goal of reducing the number of cases heard by the Board of Zoning Appeals. Chapter 9, Design Standards. This chapter's purpose is to promote the orderly development throughout the city of Elkhart. The subdivision layouts shall be of such character to protect the health, safety, and general welfare of its residents. This chapter incorporates the subdivision standards and regulations that had previously been contained in a separate ordinance. The regulations have been updated to reflect the current statutory requirements. all design elements related to lot and block design, lot arrangement, and general site arrangement. The chapter clarifies and requires sidewalks as a means of providing pedestrian accessibility for all residential and commercial development proposals as a part of infrastructure improvements within the public right-of-way. This chapter also incorporates new types of development to allow greater flexibility in design and produce innovative residential environments. Cluster development and cottage court. Cluster developments provide for more efficient use of land to protect topographical features, wetlands, or scenic views, to permit common areas and open space to remain with clustered residential. Cottage court layouts as smaller dwellings around an internal courtyard to provide more efficient uses of land and allow for greater density. This chapter also provides for site developed to meet the public works standards for stormwater, sewer, and water supply systems. Chapter 10, Design Criteria for Development Plans. This chapter's purpose recognizes that certain geographic areas have major impact on the visual and physical character of the city. Many of these geographic areas bisect many different zoning classifications. Geographic areas are established which require higher development standards and increased level of review. This chapter contains the facade element standards for the architectural design standards. Included now for greater clarification are various graphic examples and photographs of each design element to assist the user in understanding what is being depicted. Chapter 11, Sign Standards. This chapter provides a comprehensive system for the regulation of signs within the city of Elkhart to protect the health, safety, and general welfare of the city and its residents, to allow the adequate opportunity for free speech in the form of messages or images displayed on signs while balancing the interest of public safety and aesthetic concerns impacted by signs, to not interfere with traffic safety or otherwise endanger public safety, enhances and protects the aesthetic value of the city by reducing visual clutter that is potentially harmful to property values, economic development, and quality of life. This chapter has established a list of signs that do not require permits, signs that are prohibited sign locations, establishes sign design standards and measurement rules for sign area measured, sign height, and sign setback. There are also extensive charts and graphs that depict by district the permitted sign types. This will assist business owners and contractors by showing what signs are permitted within each district. Chapter 12, Environmental Protection and Hazard Mitigation. This chapter provides regulations and standards for the cultural resource protection for the repair or rehabilitation of historic structures. Included in this chapter is grading, drainage, and erosion control by providing general standards for construction performance principles for minimizing erosion and grading for drainage. Two sections that did not change were carried over intact from the previous ordinance were the Wetland Conservation Overlay District and the Special Flood Hazard Area District and Flood Damage Prevention District. As a community that participates in the National Flood Insurance Program, it is essential that the previously approved model ordinance language approved in 2024 remained. This allows the city the ability to receive disaster funding in the event of natural disaster. Chapter 13, Development Types. This chapter provides the development standards for planned unit developments, mobile home parks, and recreational vehicle parks and campgrounds. The Planned Unit Development District is designed to encourage quality land development and site design without the use of typical zoning standards. Mobile home parks have specific development standards in part that provide for setback, recreation, and street requirements, pedestrian ways, utilities, and lighting. Newly added is specific development standards for RV parks and campgrounds and design standards to ensure quality development. Chapter 14, Administrative Procedures and Processes. This chapter provides detailed explanation of the roles and responsibilities of the Planning Director, Common Council, Technical Review Committee, Plan Commission, Plat Committee, Board of Zoning Appeals, Historic and Cultural Preservation Commission, and the newly established Hearing Officer. This chapter also prescribes and defines, pursuant to Indiana Code, financial conflicts of interest for members of the Common Council, Plan Commission, Board of Zoning Appeals, and Historic and Cultural Preservation Commission. This chapter also provides regulations for the administrative decisions for development plans and processes for approval. Newly created for the UDO are allowable minor waivers to UDO standards. This process is intended to provide greater flexibility without requiring a formal zoning amendment or variance. This chapter also contains the subdivision approval regulations and process, which has been updated to meet current state statute. Chapter 15, Historic and Cultural Preservation Commission Ordinance. This chapter provides regulations and standards for the cultural resources protection for the repair and rehabilitation of historic structures. These guidelines aim to support a vision for preserving the historic buildings and structures in the city by identifying places that tell the history of Elkhart. This chapter provides the powers and duties of the Historic and Cultural Preservation Commission and the processes in place that govern the commission. The chapter also provides regulation for establishing districts, activities that require a certificate of appropriateness, what activities can be approved by staff as staff approvals. Listed within provides development standards and necessary maintenance in order to preserve a historic property. The chapter has criteria for considering effects of actions on historic buildings and visual compatibility when working on a historic building or in a district. Also included is the list of designated preservation and conservation districts, which will make determining the status of a designated property easier. Chapter 16, Enforcement and Penalties. This chapter provides for who can enforce the terms and provisions found within the UDO in accordance with Indiana law. Building Department, Department of Code Enforcement, Plan Commission, and the staff of each department are designated. Determination of a violation describes how can determine a violation. Inspection and investigation is a new tool that permits the right of entry to investigate as a part of enforcement duties. Initiation of enforcement action outlines who and which board may institute a suit or injunction for violating the provision of the UDO. Types of violations describes the various violations, development standards, use, conditions, and commitments. The chapter also covers the notice of violation, types of remedies, and penalties. In Chapter 17, language, rules, and definitions. This chapter provides the rules of language construction, which defines the meaning and intent of the words and phrases found in the UDO, the computation of time, the tenses and usages of words, and the meaning of usage and conjunctions. This chapter also provides the definitions of terms to ensure clarity and consistency throughout the entire document.
Wow.
Therefore, staff recommends the approval of Case 25 TXT-01, the proposed zoning ordinance text amendment to a unified development ordinance as described in the above, and send to the Common Council with a due pass recommendation.
We'll let you take a breath before we ask some questions.
Get a drink. Parched.
Nicely done.
I think I do have a couple questions,
Sure.
and I don't know if other members do as well, but okay. I'm going to be selfish and start with mine. Form-based districts are something that are a little bit new to the city. Can you give us kind of a 30-second description of where that will apply and how that will apply?
Certainly. And I will also make mention that I have Cynthia Bowen online from REA and Allison as well, online in the audience as well from REA, who helped me with this update. Form-based districts are primarily in the area of downtown, the River District, and the Benham neighborhood. Those areas, just by the nature of the name, are more concerned with the form rather than the use. We do have uses that are excluded, but they focus on the form and redeveloping and reestablishing those street frontages and their how they address the public right-of-way.
Very good. One of the questions that has come up as I've talked to some developers that have brought proposals to the city are lot widths in single-family residential. And I believe with this UDO, we are narrowing some of the lot widths to reduce some developer costs and just make it more realistic based on the cost of infrastructure. Is that correct?
In our residential districts, in an attempt to reduce the number to do a number of things. To reduce the number of cases that are going before the Board of Zoning Appeals and to make some of our currently non-conforming lots conforming, we changed and reduced slightly the development width or the development width of some of our districts in order to make them developable by right.
Very good. Chapter 7 on parking, you mentioned standards for areas that are exempt from minimum parking. I guess, again, the question is, what are those areas roughly? I assume it's very similar to the form-based codes, downtown, that sort of thing.
Largely in the areas of the downtown.
Okay.
And I guess I would add that also exempt our areas of commercial development that existed before the ordinance was in place.
Understood. My last question, out of chapter 14, the allowable minor waivers. How does an applicant request a minor waiver and how is that approved?
We are going to have to, and then Allison or Cynthia can jump in, but we are going to have to establish a policy and procedure on how someone would apply for those. Because we have some new procedures with the with that and with the hearing officer position. We will have to adopt some procedures that will be approved by this body on how we handle those and address those moving forward.
Okay. Mr. Mishler.
Thank you. Just a couple quick questions regarding which one was it here? Chapter 14, the administrative procedures and process. It just provides detailed explanations of roles and responsibilities. So I assume that's board training of sorts, or at least my main question is, where is the funding for that going to be coming from?
Right now, it's out of our development services budget.
Okay. And the other thing was just in order to make sure that everything lines up with council rules, because I know that's mentioned specifically in here, I'd like to get with you in the future as the parliamentarian to make sure that everything is level across the field.
Sure, definitely.
Question on chapter 15, you got the historical and cultural preservation.
Mm-hmm.
There's a building on the corner of Middlebury and Prairie. I think it was a school at one time.
It's the old
Now,
Middlebury.
what was that?
It was the old Middlebury School.
Okay, is that in a historical classification?
That is not.
So is that part of Benham or downtown?
That would not be included in either, I don't believe. I think that would be on its own because that's outside of each of those areas.
Oh, is that correct? Okay.
Any other questions, Mr. Newbill?
Nope.
Any other questions from any of the other members? Thank you, Mr. Trotter. We are going to make a recommendation to the council on this, so I will open this up for public comment. Is there anyone here in the room who would like to speak on this matter? Seeing none. Anyone online that would like to speak on this matter? Ms. Bowen's not interested. Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the Plan Commission. Any other questions or comments? If not, this would be a motion to make a due pass recommendation to the council that they accept the UDO. Yes.
I will make the recommendation that this be sent to the Common Council of the Whole with a due pass recommendation.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Mishler, seconded by Ms. Lawson. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Osborne,
Yes.
Newbill,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Lawson,
Yes.
Murray,
Yes.
Mishler,
Aye.
Schaefer.
Yes. I would like to thank Mr. Trotter for his time and the staff from REA for their time. I know this has been a lengthy process, and I hope it goes well at the council level. So thank you for your time. Last item on our agenda, staff item to assign a number to a previously approved Plan Commission resolution.
Thank you very much. In May of 2025, the Plan Commission adopted resolution of the Elkhart City Plan Commission approving a resolution of the City of Elkhart, Indiana, Redevelopment Commission designated and declaring the Boulder Run Economic Development Area and approving the Economic Development Plan. That was approved. Unfortunately, the numbering was not correct at that time. So literally this today is to change the number in the public record moving forward. This would have a resolution of number 4, and it had a number from the redevelopment commission that was carried over, and we need to assign our own number as number 4. So
So-
that's literally all this is today.
Any questions of Mr. Trotter? Not, can I have a motion that we assign that as resolution number 4?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Jones, seconded by Ms. Lawson. We'll just do this as a voice vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Any other staff items?
No, sir.
Seeing none, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded by, motion by Mr. Jones, seconded by Mr. Mishler. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you all for your time.